It turns out my 16-year relationship was a complete lie. My boyfriend instantly moved on. Let's get things started by saying that I love my boyfriend, Jack. We've been together since high school, and when I picture my future, it always includes him. I'm not sure he feels the same way though. Jack and I live together. In fact, we own a home together. Even though we own a home together and have been together for 16 years, I still feel like just a roommate to him, like he can't really commit to me. There are a number of things he does that make me question whether he's really in this or not with me. Firstly, even though we live together and own a home together, we keep our bank accounts separate. He also insists on paying the mortgage by himself, with his own account, every month. I pay some utilities and buy groceries, almost as though I'm paying rent to live in his home. Jack also has not allowed me to put any personal touches on our home. We've lived in it for a while, but it looks the same as when we moved in, with the exception of the room his computer is in, which is decorated to his liking. Every time I mention something we could do or show him something I like, he either tells me it's dumb or says he doesn't like it. I don't push him because I don't want to start an argument. We recently got engaged. Now, I know that doesn't scream commitment issues, but hear me out. A few years ago, a couple of close friends of ours got engaged. I was upset because I've had to watch all of my friends get married after being with their boyfriends for much shorter periods of time. He caught on to the bad mood I was in during their engagement and wedding, and I told him why I was upset. So a week after their wedding, he agreed to get me a ring. I went with him to buy it. I thought I was finally getting somewhere, but he told me it wasn't an engagement, and that I could wear it, but he'd ask when he was ready. It's like he bought the ring to shut me up about marriage. The next thing is that after months of his friends cracking jokes about our non-engagement, he finally just decided one night while we were at home that it could be official. He said he had a huge plan to surprise me to propose, but I never heard anything else about it. It wasn't my dream proposal, but it was finally happening, so I said yes. As well as this, he insisted on a long engagement, and didn't want to set a date at first. I began planning and looking at wedding stuff because I figured it would eventually happen, but he never seemed interested. It's been about 6 months and we've picked a date, with much pushing on my part, but he wants nothing to do with any wedding planning unless it's to voice his dislike of something I've done. He spends most of his days on his computer when he's not at work, and if he does happen to come out to see me, he goes right back shortly after if I so much as bring up the wedding. He has very strong opinions about what our wedding shouldn't be, but doesn't want to talk about the wedding at all to give me an idea of what he does want. Every idea I have for the wedding gets shot down. It's almost as though he's trying to stop the wedding from ever happening by making sure I can't plan it. What hurt the most was that he told my close friend's husband that he regrets proposing because I've been going crazy about the wedding, and that he wouldn't have proposed had he known what I was going to act like. Is he saying he doesn't want to marry me? Like what? He's surprised that wedding planning takes place after you get engaged? I don't think I'm going overboard about any of it, but it's a huge deal to me. I've spent over half of my life with this man and I've always dreamed of a huge wedding. I just don't know what to do. It's like he agrees to commit to me in certain ways, but when it comes to actually doing anything concrete, he can't do it. It's hard to talk to friends about it because the ones who do know the whole situation think he proposed just to get everyone off of his back about it. I worry he's with me because we have a semi-open relationship, and he doesn't think he can find another woman who'd agree to that. I don't think I'm explaining it right, but essentially we can sleep with other people as long as we're both there. What do you guys think? Update 1. A lot has happened in the last couple of weeks. I hired a lawyer and moved out one day while Jack was at work. Because my name is on the title and the mortgage, my lawyer assures me he either has to sell the house and split the profit with me or buy me out. I know he can't afford to buy me out, so I assume we'll put it up for sale. I managed to get most of my things out of the house, except for a vanity and a dresser that are too heavy for my friends and I to move. Since then, I've messaged Jack a few times to see what we're going to do about the house and to schedule a time to come pick up the rest of my furniture. He's pretty evasive about all of it, so last Thursday I showed up at the house with some friends to help me get my stuff. He's changed the locks, so I can't get in. We wait for him to get off of work and come back, and he lets me in to get my stuff. All he said before he let me in was, "You asked for this, so I don't want to hear it." I didn't know what he meant. I was absolutely not prepared to walk through that door, but when I did it became obvious why he didn't want me to come pick up my stuff. I didn't even recognize the house that I lived in just a week prior. It was painted, there was furniture and art and things everywhere, and I could tell by looking around that Jack didn't do this by himself. There are pictures of him and some woman all over the place. They have to go back at least a year, because one of them was taken on New Year's, though I couldn't tell what year. I just left. I can buy more furniture, but I couldn't spend a second more in that house. Jack texted me right after I left saying, "We're not selling, we're just going to buy you out." I was at a complete loss for words. I'm still in shock. I spent 16 years with that asshole, and he was with someone else for who knows how long. I'm trying to get over it the best I can, but it's hard. It would be hard leaving just because we've been together so long, but to find out that your life was pretty much a lie was a hard pill to swallow. What hurts even more is that for years I tried to decorate my house to make it a home and he wouldn't let me. She couldn't have lived with him for more than a week, and the house already looks different. I honestly don't know how I was so blind, but I'm glad I got out when I did, even if he did waste half of my life. Update 2. A lot of you pointed out that my name would still be on the mortgage even if I sell, so I've decided not to sign the paperwork accepting the buyout. Jack was not okay with this, and has been blowing up my phone ever since he found out today, calling me a petty bitch, and that I was just trying to ruin his life because he was finally happy. I know they're both pissed off because they put a lot of effort into the home in the short time since I've left, and honestly I kind of feel better that they won't be able to enjoy it. I know it sounds terrible, but making this harder on them is making me feel better about the entire situation. For the majority of our relationship, I felt like he was always the one in control of everything. It's nice to have the final say. I know I've said a lot how he's wasted half of my life, and I'd like to clarify that I don't think I'm too old or that it's too late for me, just that I couldn't understand why this man would string someone along for as long as he did. He's pretty much all I've known, and it took a lot for me to leave him. I feel like I've missed out on a lot of the dating experience, but I think I'll be okay. I'm just going to enjoy being alone for right now. Since I moved out, I've been staying with a friend. I signed a lease for a 1-bedroom apartment today, so by this time next week I'll have my own place. I've already bought a bunch of things to decorate it with, and I didn't have to get anyone's permission to do so.